Hey guys,
Hey.
welcome to this episode of Jn'L podcast. Another very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, definitely. Hi, everyone. My name is Tobi Adeyemi. This is interesting because I was just thinking earlier, how do I introduce myself? Do I introduce myself as a singer-songwriter or as a student representative for over 38,000 students at the University of Birmingham? I think I've just done both.
Both,
All of the
yeah.
above. All of the above.
Yeah, so yeah,
Wow.
that's me, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to dive into what that is, the journey to those things, because those are big tasks. But yeah, I mean, Louise, tell me a little bit how you guys kind of got in contact and yeah, everything is here.
So I am going to run for president of the guild next year, and I thought, well, maybe I should just message Tobi for some advice. And yeah, I just messaged her, and she was kind enough to have a call with me and just give me some words of wisdom and advice, which was really helpful. And I thought, well, your life sounds amazing. Let's interview you for the podcast.
Yeah, definitely a good person to follow. Well, a hard act to follow, I'm sure.
Yeah,
but,
very hard act to follow.
I mean, you're gonna come in, you're gonna do your thing. You know, if you get elected, like at the end of the day, we always strive to ensure that, you know, whoever comes in year out is better than the previous in their own way. Everybody's unique. So it might sound like a, you know, hard act to follow.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a good thing to go for. I encouraged her. I only had a very small role in student politics whilst I was there, like I said, with the NUS delegate role. But I think, yeah, Louise will make a big difference, bring loads of energy to the role, which I'm sure you need after 12 months of taking that uni on. But what was it like being president over COVID? Because you were president over COVID, right?
Yeah, definitely. My team and I were the first pandemic team, in quotes. First one that you know, drafted the manifesto, wanted to come in and do big things, and then COVID said, no, calm down, go back to the drawing board and do things my way. So yeah, it was very challenging, I would say, especially because most of the things that we had to face were things that we'd never experienced before. You know, a lot of students, this wasn't the year the students anticipated, so the challenges were very different. You know, normally would deal with other kinds of challenges, but most of them were more around, you know, the bimodal teaching that was going on, the quality of education, access to that education, that teaching. So it was quite challenging for my team and I to kind of manage all of the expectations that students had, regardless of it being a global pandemic. They just want to have the best student experience ever, and that's why we're here. So it's about how do we deliver that, considering the fact that it's a global pandemic. It's not easy, and you know, we've tried our best, but I would say like students have been very, very understanding to an extent. A lot of them have been resilient, and they've just, you know, got stuck in and just understood that this is not easy for everyone. So I'll just say in a nutshell, very challenging but rewarding in the sense that we gained some incredible skills, you know, handling things under pressure and all of that. So yeah, definitely challenging but worth it.
Amazing. Well, we have so much interest in students in terms of what they have to go through and the challenges around that, and we'll get into that later. But what I am dying to know as well is, yeah, I mean, what your experience was like growing up in Nigeria, because I know that you've only recently even come and
yeah,
we'd love to know the childhood story.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's a really good question. I'm taking a trip down memory lane now. What was it like growing up in Nigeria? Definitely very different from the UK for starters.
Yeah.
I was born into a family of 5, so I have 2 younger sisters, first of 3 daughters. My dad worked in sales and marketing. My mom was a journalist. She's retired now. So it was a very, I don't even know how to put it, but it was just an interesting childhood in the sense that I had 2 parents who liked to talk a lot, either about politics or about, you know, just current affairs or just anything and everything. I grew up around a lot of extended family. It was bubbly. It's different from the UK and how, you know, people live communally in Nigeria. People are in each other's business, so to speak. Like,
Yeah.
you know what your neighbor is up to, you know what's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on
yeah.
next door. You just come out of your house and everyone's saying hello, hi. Like, you literally almost have
Yeah.
a hunchback from walking down your street because you're like, you know, greeting everybody until you get to your destination. But it was good in the sense that I attended really good schools. I learned a lot. I was the discipline that my parents instilled in me, especially my dad, was top tier. And I think that that's what really helped me survive throughout music and almost dropping out of school because of music, and just remembering the voice of my parents saying, if you fail, you're not coming back to this house. And you know, we weren't taught to depend on family members, even if it was like communally living. So I definitely wanted to strive, you know, work hard in school and not be homeless.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I can like say everything, but I'll just say I'm happy for you to ask me specific questions. But in a nutshell, it was very fun, interesting. There were lots of like challenging times, especially for my parents. Um, but I would say a balance of fun, a balance of discipline, a balance of humility,
Mm.
and definitely, I think we were very conservative. I would say,
Yeah.
regardless of the fact that my parents were like really outgoing, very outspoken, very cheerful. Like, it was a conservative upbringing. Very much live within your means. You get what you need and not necessarily what you want all the time.
Yeah.
That's the summary.
Yeah. Yeah, no, very interesting. Because we
Yeah.
lived in Ghana for only 2 years, and obviously it's kind of similar in culture.
Mm.
But yeah, so definitely the experience between transitioning between England and West Africa, let's
Yeah, when
say.
you were saying about the neighbours thing, like everyone literally knows everyone in your street, and then down the
Yeah.
street, and
Yeah.
then yeah.
Everyone's your uncle and aunt, whereas you go to Selly Birmingham, it's
Even if you're not related, you call each other uncle and
Auntie,
auntie. I have
and
a
you'll get
lot
a
of
slap
uncles
if you
that are
don't.
not related by blood. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, but that's really interesting. And yeah, so interesting that you had two parents working and in fields that, like you say, are very kind of interested in things that are developing, but also being from a culture where the family values are still very much there as well, which is an interesting balance of things for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
Luis, how do you find how do you find that kind
Yeah,
of
I was
balance?
interested in like the almost dropping out music bit.
I can expand on that. So,
Yes, please.
2012 was when I gained admission to study French language for my undergrad degree, and that was a time when I just pretty much kicked off, you know, my music, recording music, writing music. At some point in between, like second year, into the music, I started to get some buzz. I started to get popular. I released a cover to a song by a popular artist. It just went viral. I started to get demands for like shows, performances, like red
Oh my
carpet
God.
events, interviews, like
Oh,
a lot of things. It was massive. It wasn't just in my state. Like, I was traveling to different states
yeah,
as well. It got to a point where I would sometimes have classes maybe by 8 a.m. in the morning, and I would go for an event the night before, and it would end, say, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. And because I was living on campus, the campus gates would not open until, say, 6 a.m. So sometimes I'd have to like I had a driver. Can you imagine a chauffeur? My chauffeur would take me to campus. So we would stay in front of the school gates from, say, around like 3 a.m. until 6 a.m. in the morning when the gates open. I would run to my accommodation, take a shower, sleep for like 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then run to lectures, and my eyes would be swollen. I would put on my glasses because I haven't slept. I just got tired. I got tired of constantly missing shows for classes or missing classes for shows.
Yeah.
And I thought, I had to pick a struggle. And the struggle that I would have loved to pick would have been, let me just do music and be famous and get the bag. But the
yeah,
struggle that was my reality would have been, you need to finish school because your parents are
yeah,
going to kick you out. And if you don't have a place to stay, you're not going to be able to do the music. So I said, okay, I'm going to cut down on shows. I'm going to, decline some offers. And so I had no choice but to just actually get stuck in And I was quite lucky because some of my lecturers knew about the music. They were seeing my stuff on TV. So they were a bit understanding in the sense that if I was late for a class, they would just say, yeah, just sit in the back. Or they would still let me in, or they would say, stay outside, don't come in, but they'll still let me do the test and all of that. Like, they were trying to be, they're trying to punish me nicely, but, still accommodate. Yeah. So yeah, that's the story. I had no choice but to just, get stuck into school and not get homeless, basically, because my dad is, he's a tough cookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You still record any music? You still?
Yeah, I mean, not as much as I used to because I work in a 9-to-5 job at the moment, and a lot of recording music. The process is very like, sometimes it's instinctive, sometimes it's like you get the inspiration, you want to record it. But if I get the inspiration when I'm in a 4-hour Zoom meeting, I can't necessarily leave. So it has, I think that has really impacted how often I record. I think the last time I recorded a song was like last month or the month before, which I'm not proud to say, as I'm working on an EP. However, I'm still trying. I'm really, really trying. I mean, once I finish this job, I'm gonna have more time until I get another job. But until then, I'm still in the music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of gone with?
I was just thinking, what was it like? So did like people on campus, like the actual students, know who you were outside of uni?
Do you know, one time I had the fan moment one time on campus. Yeah, I was in front of the library, and funny enough, that was when I was campaigning to become president, because so I'm a 2-year sabbatical officer. The year before, last sabbatical year, I was a postgraduate officer. So I campaigned again to become president. And so during the campaign week, I was in front of the library handing out flyers, and there was this person I handed out the flyer to. They looked at the picture, they looked at me, kept looking, and I thought, why is this person looking at me? And I walked away, and they called me by my stage name, and I turned back like, what?
Wow.
And they're like, oh, wow, so wow, nobody on Instagram, for instance, like knows that you're at Birmingham. Nobody knows that you're doing this. Like, you're living like 2 different lives. I'm like, yeah. So that was the first time, and there was another time in the library as well, which is strange. I don't know why I put getting, I was in the library, and a friend of mine who's Ghanaian said that his friend, who's also Ghanaian, had been staring at me and saying I look like somebody that, like, a singer that she knows, and she mentioned the name of the singer, which happened to be me, and my friend said, oh, I know her, she's my friend, I'm going to introduce you. And she was like, oh my goodness, I'm a fan. And I was like, okay.
Yeah. So would you tell your friends? Yeah. Do you, like, is it something that you tell people as soon as they're like a sign of a friendship, they know about you, or?
So I tend to not tell people about my music when I meet them, because when I was in Nigeria, I didn't really have a lot of friends because of the music, because a lot of people would just want to like be my friend because of the music, or for like get free tickets to like my show. So I just felt like it wasn't genuine. So when I came here, I just wanted to make friends for the first time in a long time. So when I meet people, I never tell them who I am or what I do. I literally have another Instagram page that's like my personal page with like 90. I'm following 90 people and like 90 followers thereabout. And that's the page that I give people. After a while, when I see that, okay, this person is a good person, this person is a friend, and I tell them who I am, and they go to my actual Instagram page, like over 80,000 followers, and like, oh my goodness. Like, yeah. So yeah, I never tell people anything about the music. They just get to find out along the line.
Amazing. It's really interesting. And I was going to ask you, so what kind of inspires you? What's, in terms of in your music, is it stuff to do with being from Nigeria? Is it stuff that are personal interests? Maybe something that you're studying, or is it or a particular artist?
That's a good question. For the most part, I've been writing love songs. I just love. I am a sucker for love. Yeah. I just like once I put pen to paper, the first thing that just comes to my mind is like love songs. I can write love songs in my sleep. However, I've been thinking a lot lately, being more conscious about things that are happening around me, especially the state of things in my country. I've always loved poetry, but I've just never had the opportunity to translate my poems into like songs and like be poetic with my lyrics. It's been very commercialized so far, so I'm trying to do things that are a lot more poetic, a lot more abstract, lot more focused on like real life issues. So,
Mm.
not just love, friendship, for instance,
Yeah.
opportunities, for instance, the state of the nation, for instance, like chaos, things that are like very real life problems, or just
Yeah.
things that happen to us as we exist daily as humans. So
Mm.
that's like the kind of music that I'm tending towards at the moment, and I'm still trying to figure it out, but yeah, that's what it is at the moment.
It's interesting. Well, it'll grow with you, won't it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's kind of your music. You're a singer songwriter. So as
Mhm.
you get older and have different interests and things like that, that kind of move with you, which would be really interesting to see. I'd love to listen to some of your music, by the way. I feel like you've done
Yeah.
it already.
Yeah, it's online, it's everywhere. Just check Toby Gray, Tobygrey. You
I
find
will
the gal
do. Yeah, we'll
there.
link through people after this as well, and they can see it.
Amazing. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, so okay, so you obviously had a music career. You did your undergraduate. Why Birmingham? Why England?
Oh, do you want the truth or the the
The
But
fabricated
truth. We want the
response?
truth.
Oh my goodness. Ooh, the truth. Why Birmingham? I got depressed. There was one time where, because let me just start from the beginning. So music is a very cost intensive business. If it's expensive, especially for a female artist, there's so many things to consider. It got to a point where I'd been exploited too much. I'd spent too much money on the music, and it just felt like I didn't know what else to do. And I just felt like, oh my goodness, I don't have any more money to, put into the music. I don't know what else to do. I'm just tired. I
Mm.
got really, really depressed. I got really upset about things. I was just very irritable.
yeah,
Luckily for me, I got the opportunity to, well, I was advised by my family to maybe, you know, go and study, do a master's. I have always wanted to go to France because my undergrad was in French language. So I wanted to go to a country actually, where French is like the day to day, and it can grow on me and I can perfect the language. But the person who suggested the UK was keen on sponsoring my education if I choose the UK, because they love the UK. All of their family members are in the UK. I'd never thought about the UK prior to then. I'd never even dreamt of coming to the UK. It was never on my bucket list. Like every other country but the UK, right? So I thought, you know what? I don't care where it is. I don't care if it's like the North Pole. I just need to get out of this environment and not think about music and not think about anything else. And so I searched online universities in Birmingham, because that same person suggested Birmingham, and I
yeah,
just checked Birmingham and I saw University of Birmingham. I didn't even look further. I loved the greenery. I loved
yeah,
how beautiful it was. I loved how, you know it, the course that I wanted specifically. So I was looking for something that had to do with diplomacy and
Hmm.
international relations. And literally, it was there, international relations diplomacy. I'm like, wait, what? Where
So
they expected me? It
that's a
was too
course.
apt. Yeah,
Oh, that's a
international
master's.
relations. So it's a
Specific to
master's.
masters. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah, it's a
what? I would have
master's.
done that if I knew that was the same.
I know, right? Because I saw that, I'm like, international relations diplomacy. Wait, this is a sign. I'm choosing Birmingham. Luckily for me, I applied, again, got the admission. It was easy. Everything was smooth. Got to the UK. I remember spending the first 1 month crying. Like, I was just crying back to back every day. I was so overwhelmed. I'm out of my country. I'm out of the space that was so toxic for me. I'm out of the space where I have loved because of the creativity that I've been able to, come up with. And I'm here. I'm all alone. And so many things. The reality
Yeah.
was just dawning on me like back to back. Um, yeah, for like a couple of months, I think, before then going back. But it was never the same. The moment I left
Yeah.
Nigeria, the music just went like like that way, and then it just stayed in one spot. So it's been constantly in one position, going up, coming back, going up, coming back.
Yeah.
It's literally what it is, because I haven't
Yeah.
given it like my full attention.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
that's why Birmingham.
yeah, amazing answer.
Yeah.
Wow. No, yeah, I mean, me, Louise, and our older brother have all been to Birmingham, and so we understand the
The
attraction.
pull, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful green campuses. I mean, it's so nice this
I
time
love
of year.
it. I love it.
So
Love
nice.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's an amazing place. It's the second biggest city, so it has the culture and the vibrancy of London without the kind of angry. Oh, it has some angry people, but not as much.
Also,
Yeah.
it's much cheaper. So much
Well, yeah,
cheaper
it's
than
cheaper
London.
than London for sure. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Yeah. Were you based in Lagos before? Are you used to like in the big city or?
Yeah, I was based in Lagos, and that's why I think if I lived in London, I would fit right in, because London is like the Lagos of the UK. Very,
Yeah.
very busy, very fast paced, vibrant
Yeah.
music, like the culture of Lagos. Yeah, and food, music, food, and fashion. Three things.
Yeah, exactly. A few things that are always important. So, I mean, tell us a little bit more. So, I can understand what you're saying about having moved and just have this complete shift. And university, again, we've been speaking about this a lot recently, Louise and I. People think you have all these hopes and dreams. That's why you apply. They're these big picture things, but the reality can be very different. And what was the support like from the university at the time?
So when I first got here, when I first got to Birmingham, I wouldn't lie. I feel like I didn't. The thing with support is you don't know if it's there until you actually look for it.
Yeah.
It's always there. It's always been there. The University of Birmingham is good for that, and I'm not saying that because I'm employed by the Guild of Students, which is, I mean, we're independent from the university anyway, so I don't have the obligation to actually say great stuff. But in all fairness, the university does a lot when it comes to like having support available for students, especially from when you first get here. It doesn't matter if you're first year or if you're masters. I just didn't know that it was there, and I suffered in silence. If I instead of crying for 1 month stretch or straight, I could have just checked, the wellbeing services and said, I'm feeling homesick, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling this type of way, I need somebody to talk to. And I didn't have a lot of friends. I didn't have any friends in the beginning. That would have been helpful for me, just having somebody to chat with and not having to go through that pain. Because even when my family called me from time to time and I told them that I was feeling sad, they felt my sadness. So it wasn't just me suffering in silence. They were suffering on my behalf, and that was I didn't like that. So I stopped telling them how I was feeling. It made it even worse for me. So I think the moment I made one friend, that was just it. The moment I attended actually I went to the guild. There was a thing happening, like pizza, free pizzas, and they're giving like takeaway bags. I met a couple of people there and made a friend, and it just went on from there. So I would say that the university supported me. I wouldn't even say it's the university, I would say it's the guild. I think the guild supported me by putting on that event and that space for me to be able to meet people and just not having to feel the same way that I'd felt in the beginning. And it was good because we all had something in common. We're all international students. So I didn't feel like an alien, I would say the university supported academically a lot because I had free access to my professors, the academics, not like Nigeria where your professors come in that way, you turn and run the other way because it's just like I don't know, it's such a hierarchical relationship. It's like you see them up top, you can't reach them. If you do go and visit your professor because you need clarity on something that he's taught you,
Yeah.
how is it going to roll, especially if you're a female? They're going to be like, why are you going to his office, or why are you going to her office? Those kind of things that people would say a lot of stuff, or
Yeah.
you might be victimized because they've seen you, they've tagged you, you're in class, and now all of a sudden they're just picking on you all the time. So I never had that comfort to be able to approach my professors, and it affected the quality of experience I had. But just coming to Birmingham and being able to, like, the professors would say, oh, there's no such thing as a right or wrong answer, or a right or wrong question, or a bad question. I'm like, okay, just
And
ask
then they
questions.
come out with it then.
Yeah, they always say that. It just
Amazing.
makes you feel comfortable. You can always go to the office. You can always send an email. You can always give a call to your tutor or whatever. Yeah, I think that helped me, definitely. Yeah, I would say in retrospect, I wish that I made use of all of the opportunities that were on offer, especially from Careers Network, opportunities to kind of develop personally and professionally. I wish I took up those opportunities, but I didn't. But yeah.
I mean, everything you're saying over that last 5-10 minutes really has warmed my heart and made me look forward so much to what we can do next year, because everything you've said, that it's so important. Yes, there's all the money for these resources, and they're fantastic resources, but people don't, people don't normally just go and look for those things. But there is personal development, there is careers talks, and just simply having friends is so important to the experience. And that's so amazing that you're able to find that. And then look at you now, King of Birmingham.
I know, literally.
Look at me. I know. I'm making waves.
Queen Bee.
Yes.
Exactly. So it can make such a transformational difference, obviously. And we find that so important. So so definitely. I mean, that's why this year I go to University of Westminster now. So I did 4 years at Birmingham. Loved my time there as well. But yes, I'm at Westminster now, and this year I went from to studying psychology, and I did an initiative called BreatheUni to help university students have just a space where they can speak to other students rather than having that, like you're saying, hierarchical thing with staff that you sometimes get, and speak about anything they want to speak about, like real issues of loneliness or fitting in and things like that. And now it was online. So there was a limitation of how many students we could really reach, but the people we did do it with every week absolutely loved it. And now we're trying to make it bigger, and we're trying to bring it to other universities. And Louise is keen to help me and bring it to the University of Birmingham as well. And it's basically just going to be every week a space where you can come, meet people, speak about topics that people don't really speak about socially normally. So just things like this, like anxiety or having panic attacks or things like that. But then also have opportunities for career skills, opportunities for personal development courses, so many different things from that. So, I mean, as I say, whenever I speak to someone about this, it seems so obvious what people need, but it's just, it needs to be
They're not getting it.
Yeah. I mean, so what do you think in terms of, why do you think that is? Why do you think there's so many amazing things and it doesn't communicate well to students from working now in the guild?
And I'll say, first of all, the initiative that you talked about, I think that's incredible. Also, throughout this term in office and the term before, I've understood to a large extent the importance of networking within the higher education space, or just any space at all that people want to go into. So having this kind of space where you're not just talking to people from within your university, for instance, like it's going to be incredibly helpful for your professional growth or your personal growth, because people end up going into different worlds of work. If you know somebody who works in that company because you met them at uni, and you want to pitch a project to them, or you want to work with them in the future, that makes things easier. So this is fantastic. So back to your question around why do I think, I think I understand the question, but I'm not saying it the exact way you said it. But just back to your question. First of all, the university is huge. I mean, a university like University of Birmingham, 38,000 students and more. You can't possibly design support that is targeted at every single person, and you can't possibly reach every single person individually. Like, you're going to have it there. You can do the most that you can in terms of promoting these services and signposting them when students ask for them. But somebody like me who probably has just come to university, doesn't know where to go, doesn't know where to look, you might not be able to reach me at first glance because you probably don't know. Like, you don't know my room number, for instance. You might know it on like the on the the database and all of that, but it's like it can be very individual as much as we want it to be, you know. People will get generic emails. How many students read their emails? Let's be honest. I
Yeah.
mean, just read the headlines. If it doesn't say free pizza, if it doesn't say you're gonna get £20 Amazon voucher for this, like, you know, people hardly read things. But it's like I think the major challenge is, first of all, the numbers, and that's something that we can't really change. Secondly, I think that promotion is already done. Like universities already do promotion and telling people, you know, this is here, it's available. I think is how they make that promotion more localized. I think it shouldn't just be centralized. It shouldn't just be, you know, you get and wherever it is. I think it should go down to your tutors, for instance, telling you, you can access this if you need it. I think Birmingham does that already. But even down to your professors, you know, if you're teaching or lecturing and you feel like your students are not performing well, you can always say in the class and say, you know, guys, I don't know if you know about this, but you can always make use of this if you need it. Not to make it feel like it's targeted at people who are not doing well, but just say it as like a general, you know, it's mental health. Your mental health has to be taken seriously. Don't forget, just something that is beyond the curriculum. What's on the thing, on the, you know, thing to discuss with your students. Like, just it has to trickle down, a bottom up approach. It just be from the top always. Even down to inductions. I think Birmingham does this already, but I think an opportunity is using the student union to kind of get the word out there even more. One thing student unions don't like is being the mouthpiece. Like, we don't want to be the mouthpiece, but things like this are very important. We want to collaborate. We want to help design it. We want to sit with you in the room where we think, okay, this would work for this group of students, this wouldn't work. Let's sit together. Let's call in a couple of students who would, you know, impute into, let's actually ask these students what works for you, what doesn't work for you. Let's not just design something, a package, and expect everybody to just like it. Like, let's year in, year out, let's do this. Let's not just do it this year and then leave it until 5 years. Like, let's do it year in, year out, because the student population changes. COVID has happened. People's needs have changed, you know? Things are going to keep changing. So it's like, yeah, I feel like that those are the main reasons that I can think about off the top of my head. But there is a solution, and it's going to be long term. It's not going to be just like that, and that is just getting everybody involved, getting the right people into the conversation, and helping them design the kind of support that they want to see, basically.
Yeah,
definitely.
I feel that.
So,
yeah, I was just thinking about like how all of this like links together, and obviously like my first year experience was a bit, well, just bad. I cried like every single day for like probably 6 months as well.
Oh no.
Yeah, just because like people had told me that it was going to be the best year of my life, but when I actually got there, I was like, oh my god, like I've just been thrown into this place and don't know what's happening. And like, you have your like home life where you know all the people there, but then you have like this life and you have to try and put them together, and that's really hard. And like separating like those two lives is like, change is obviously needed, and you need to go through all of that, but like it's pretty intense, and you're also trying to do a course that you have to do well in, which I think is actually really good. That first year doesn't count, but obviously for you, a master's counts.
Yeah, my only year.
Yeah.
My only shot at actually bagging a good degree, so I have to do it once and do it well.
Yeah.
I'm really sad to hear that you didn't have like a good experience. Was that because of, did it have anything to do with the education that you received, or was that like, you know, interpersonal relationships? Oh, and I'm asking this question like I'm doing a review. Oh my goodness.
No, it was because of interpersonal relationships. The education, it was good. Like I liked my tutors and stuff, but I think it could have been a bit more like interactive, and just a bit, because like it is like, I'm a really like personal person, so I like to like go out to people in my seminar and be like, oh my god, hey, how are you? But I don't know, I feel like they should make seminars a bit more about like making friends and stuff, because course friends are important for like, I mean, your whole university is meant to be about your course, right? You're going to want people there that you know and can trust and
Yeah.
can be like, oh, what you do
Yeah.
for this assignment, or you know what I mean. So I think they need to make that a bit better. And to be honest, like I had a bit of an incident with the welfare officer where I emailed about an incident that happened, and she didn't reply, which was a bit wild, but I don't know, like
Interesting. I mean, these are the kind of things that even like in my role as president, these are the kind of things that we're trying to change. We're trying to ensure that people are not feeling like this. You know, it's just because it's sad. Imagine like what you just said, like emailing a welfare officer where you have welfare, I don't know, maybe queries, issues, for instance, and they're not responding. Like that's a lot. Like that takes you back to square zero. Like if you
yeah.
are feeling terrible before, you feel worse. You know, so it's and that's why even the student reps that we have, like we've been training them a lot to kind of ensure that, you know, people are comfortable to reach out to them and say, this is happening with my course. I don't like the feedback that you gave about like the, you know, having like more personal interactions and stuff. That's something that student reps should be able to take to college education committees and suggest that, you know, seminars are done in, you know, almost like breakout rooms on Zoom, for instance, where, you know, you can get like smaller groups of people, you can talk to people, and you can rotate that and do like different teams and see what works for you, and you can decide where you want to stay. You know what I mean? So yeah, again, I'm sorry that you had such a terrible experience.
Yeah, I think it goes back to a little bit as what you were saying about size. So even at course level, so my course at Birmingham was very small but very full on, because it was like 40, 50 people. It was material science and engineering, and it was kind of a massive community because we all knew each other. And it was also like not 9 to 5 every day, but you're there on campus every day, and so you meet the same people every day. You can form relationships. There was, you know, social events. There was we eventually brought in things like parents and kids, that kind of thing, amongst the years, barbecue sports, all that kind of thing.
They should so do that. Why my course is like,
you
what,
have like
200?
Oh, that's why. Come on,
200 people, and I have like
Big,
I have like 5 friends.
There you go, yeah. Oh
yeah,
my
so they've got to make smaller groups and like make communities out of the numbers they've got to play with. And I think another thing that's important, you mentioned gauging students to see what actually works for students. I think the same thing can be applied to staff, because you can have all these great things, but if they don't want to do it, they won't. I remember in my first year, they gave us a piece of paper. They're like, oh, by the way, you have to sign this and bring it to teacher next time. I had tutor like 2 or 3 times the whole year. By the way, he was my master supervisor in 3 years' time, and he was a great supervisor for that. So it's not a slight on him, but he's an academic. And I think in some courses, people are great academics, but they do the tutor thing because it's part of their job description. And so, yeah, they said, sign this thing. And the thing said, like, are you feeling depressed? Are you making friends? Blah, blah, blah. And like, do you know what I mean? It's not exactly a personable way to do it. I think it's just have a conversation through it. And then they brought out this thing, what was it? Turtles, like something on Canvas where you've got to like fill in the same kind of information. Again, I think it was a really nicely designed software and platform, but it's kind of a bit kind of robotic, isn't it? I think what people really would like to do is just have a conversation. You know, they might not tell you everything, especially if you're a staff member, but it's got to be stuff that actually feels kind of
I think
personal,
that is
you know?
that's a massive thing for me. I feel like the tutors that I've got the most out of are the ones who are pastoral by nature and actually care about their students. It's not just like a thing that they have to do. They have to give lectures and stuff. Like those are the ones that I really appreciate. Those are the ones that I know I can go to. Those are the ones who I really want to do well in their module, not just for me, but to, you know, I want to like make them proud or whatever, because they actually care about me. Whereas some tutors, they don't even know your name. Like they don't care what you're getting. They don't care about your progress in life, or all they care about is you getting this and that module. So
yeah, for sure. And there are some excellent teachers out there, because like you say, there's a difference between a teacher and someone who teaches. And I think, like you say, sometimes you get people that they want to be at the uni for the research, X, Y, and Z, and then they have to teach. And you have some people who almost make up for those other teachers because they just love to teach. And I mean, it's difficult. It's difficult. I'm not saying it's the uni can always know that. They've obviously just got to try their best. But yeah, maybe just giving more opportunities for those teachers who love to teach to be part of bigger programs, because they got big hearts, a lot of them. You know, and sometimes one tutee will take on like the whole course because they know that he's really nice or she's really nice, kind of thing. So they just need a bit of help as well, I guess, because they can't know everyone's name if they've got
No.
I mean, they want people to know, you know, on the course even.
You know, when you
Yeah.
get like a few tutors like doing one module, and you just know which one that you're gonna email
Oh,
about, like, about
definitely.
your
You know
thing.
the one you like already.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Honestly, I feel like what you guys have just said just reminding me of why I became a sabbatical officer in the first place. Like you see something that needs fixing, and you don't want to wait around for somebody to do it. Like you just want to do it. That's why I'm quite happy that you've decided to run in the guild elections, because obviously these are the kind of things that you can put on your manifesto. These are the kind of things that you can say that you want to change or you want to work with reps to do, because if you're feeling this way, I can bet you that so many of the students are feeling the same way, and they probably don't want to say it because they feel, oh, it's not a big deal. I'm just going to be done in like a couple of months anyway. I'm going to, and that's not good enough, because other people are going to come, other students are going to come and probably experience the same thing. And it becomes like a year in, year out kind of thing.
Mm.
And that doesn't help the overall student experience. So in as much as I'm not happy that you've had to go through this kind of experience, I'm happy that you've recognized it as something that needs to change and is something that you have the power to change.
yeah, for sure. Conversations like this as well. I mean, you're the president, and
Yeah,
you had a very human experience, and you spoke about how emotional it was for you. For people to
yeah,
see that and think, oh, well, if she's feeling that way, then I'm not so weird for feeling this way either. And I think things like this will be really
yeah.
good as well, whether that's blogs or posts or videos like this as well. Just makes it much more
Unfortunately, I don't do
relatable.
it enough. I wish I did it enough to just let
It's
people
tough.
see, behind the scenes how it is, because a lot of people just they don't see anything behind it. They don't know what's going on. I think I kind of hinted this to you, Louise, when we spoke, and how
Yeah.
it's people just see the posts from time to time. They don't see the process behind it, and how, like you said, we're all human. We have these kind of experiences, and we try to make things, but we genuinely love what we do. We genuinely want to see change. That's the crazy thing. Like
Yeah,
nobody is there because they just want to be there. Who wants to receive crazy comments on social media? No. Who wants to be put on the spot all the time? Nobody. Who wants to knock on doors and those doors are not opening? Nobody. But we do it genuinely because we want to see change for students. Yeah.
that's amazing. Yeah, no, really, I think it is something where people are doing it, really want to be doing it. They could be graduating and getting whatever job, but they care about their unis. It's where they spend
Yeah.
a lot of their years, made some of their closest relationships, and they want to make a real difference. And yeah, you can feel that. But I think the problem is, I had a conversation with somebody the other day about this. There's so much passion by maybe some set of students like yourself and Louise and I, but then they move on to other things naturally through life, and then suddenly the projects get forgotten about. And what you said there earlier about making sure there's some sort of continuity, picking
Yeah.
out other students who have the same level of passion year on year is also
Mhm.
so key. So that's definitely what we're going to try and build and what we're trying to do as well. Make a
Amazing.
community, and we're also trying to work with schools so that there's easier transition between schools and university, and then also work with them after they leave, alumni, so that they have interview help and stuff like that. So it's not just like these siloed things as well.
We want to take people through their
That's
journey,
amazing.
so they
I
can
like
feel
that.
like this sort of comfort throughout like many years. It's not just sixth form, uni, work. Like it's all very linear, and you have the same people helping you. That's why I think mentorship schemes, like having a mentor, is just
It's
brilliant.
it's super underrated. Like people don't like they haven't. I can't. I'm just gonna stop there because as a sabbatical officer, I benefited tremendously from having a coach, having a mentor, just somebody that can help you see things that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
Basically, yeah, I echo that.
So Tobi, what is next for you? What's the the mission, the next step?
What is the next step? Oh my God. Every time somebody asks me that question, especially nowadays, my heart just skips like 10 beats and then I'm
No
gone.
pressure, no pressure.
No pressure, no
Yeah,
pressure.
of course. Yeah, no, I'm just joking. But I'm not joking. So I think I would say I would love, so there are two things that I would really love to see myself doing right after this. So one of two things. Either I get a job that I really love, so a job in the third sector, so in charities,
Mm.
or non-profit organizations, basically, where
Oh
I
my God,
can,
join us.
I mean, if you're gonna pay me, I will. Like, it's not for the money, but I think my
No, no,
driving,
exactly.
Yeah.
yeah, my driving, my will is pretty much working with an organization that I can relate to their cause. So organizations that work to better lives, create opportunities. My preference would be working with children or young girls, advocacy around sexual health for young girls, or advocacy against domestic violence for women. Um, that's like my interest, but I'm not too picky at the moment. As long as it's in the third sector and it's people facing and it's like making change, that's literally where you're going to find me. The second
Yeah.
option would be, all things, what falling according to plan, landing a record label deal and just recording music nonstop, touring the world. That would be fantastic. Blue sky thinking over there, fingers crossed. But the reality is, at the moment, I'm just applying for tons and tons of jobs. So when somebody asks me what next, basically me in my pajamas applying for jobs, I have absolutely no idea where I'm going to be in the next couple of months or a year. And it sounds scary, but it's exciting because me even becoming a sabbatical officer was not something that I envisioned. Like, I didn't even see it coming. It just kind of happened, and I just kind of got the thing. So yeah, I'm always looking forward to what's next. If you ask me, I don't know. I'm just
Well,
looking forward to what's gonna happen. Trust me, and we're all gonna be here to experience it. By God's grace, fingers crossed.
exactly. Yeah, well, fear and anxiety actually can be very similar things.
Yeah.
And it's good that you're seeing that and you can see it's exciting because I'm sure wherever you end up, they'll be lucky to have you. I was going to ask,
Definitely.
so are we talking definitely UK, France, Nigeria? Are you open, or you think you want to stay in Birmingham?
Oh, another great question.
Oh, that is a good
No pressure, no
question.
pressure.
So no, it's fine. So Nigeria, no, mostly because insecurity is on an all-time high at the moment. I feel like the amount of experience that I've gained and the knowledge that I've acquired within the higher education sector is something that I still want to build upon. The long term is to still go to Nigeria, definitely, and set up my own charity to increase access to education for young women, young girls, and just access to education basically for people back home, because obviously, you know, lack of education, poverty, all of these things are intertwined, and that's one of the big problems we face in Nigeria. So long-term goals: go back to Nigeria and set up my own charity, work my way up into education, the Ministry of Education, all of that. But yeah, so Nigeria at the moment is a no-go area. I am thinking I'm very open to like working in other countries, not just the UK. But I just have this weird comfort. Like, I'm comfortable in the UK. I mean, I've
Yeah.
spent 3 years of my life here, make friends here. It feels like I'm building my career here. So I don't care where it is within the UK. And if I do get a job within the UK that allows me to travel to other, maybe handle projects in other countries, I would be more than willing to accept that. Yeah, but my focus at the moment is UK. I've checked for some jobs in Birmingham, but I would preferably want to be in London. I miss the fast-paced life. I think it keeps me on my toes. It makes me feel like there's something to just wake up in the morning and be frustrated about. I mean, the frustration sometimes is exciting. The traffic, all of that. Like, I miss it, which is weird, but that's just the Nigerian in me, used to that kind of fast life. So yeah,
Yeah,
London would be my preferred destination for work. But I'm not choosy at the moment, as long as it's a good opportunity and
fair enough.
it aligns with my values.
Fair enough. I just
Brilliant.
connected with a family friend recently,
Hmm.
and she is currently building a psychiatric hospital in Nigeria, and she's
Oh,
got a deal with Netflix to I don't know if this is hush hush. I'll check with them before we release.
Yeah.
But,
Confidential information.
She's doing something with someone but her mission is basically to raise awareness about mental health. Well, in the continent of Africa as a whole, but obviously Nigeria being, one of the biggest country there, and maybe one of the best places to start. So if you, we'll probably have her on soon as well, and I'll show you that episode. And
Amazing.
if there's anything that she's doing that you want to get involved with, I'm sure I can put you two in touch.
Please, I would love that.
Yeah, Louise, sorry,
I love that. Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, I was just going to say that's brilliant. Like, she's so aligned with what we're doing as well. So I'm just so going to try and recruit you after this. But
yeah, I don't know. Open to opportunities, whatever it is. I honestly, just as long as we have the conversation, if it aligns with my values, then we can always work something out.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, you got to be open like that, because you can be open to anything in life. You never know. Like you said,
yeah,
you never leave the country, that's your home.
Exactly. And the thing, do you know what's funny is the things that I've always wanted, or the things that I've always looked forward to, are not the things that I get. I always get the things that I don't think about, and they're more interesting than the things that I've always, thought that I could get. So it's like I'm more open now than I was when I was 23 or 24. So it's just the perspective has shifted, because there's so many opportunities that you can tap into, and if you're myopic, you're not gonna get anything interesting. You're just gonna live a boring life. And I absolutely don't want to look back when I'm 60 and think I should have done. No, I want to make sure I did it all. I want to look back and say, yes, I did that. That was me. I did it, and I'm proud of myself. That's my motto. Live life. No expectations. Don't be myopic. Just enjoy.
Amazing.
I think that's a good place to end it. But thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
Such a good conversation. I really hope people listen to this and think, yep, I found some inspiration.
Can I say one thing to close up, if you guys don't mind? Because I've just recently discovered this thinking, or this thought, thoughts, and I feel like I want to share it at every opportunity that I get with people. And it is, opportunities can be underrated sometimes. Do not underestimate the value of tiny opportunities. Take every single opportunity, grab it. No opportunity is too small, no opportunity is too big. Use every single one. Just be an opportunity holder. Hold everything, take it on, and just see how that kind of translates for you, into great skills and experiences in years to come. I've just given you guys a gem right there. Even if you studied engineering, you did the course in engineering, you could decide later in the future that you want to go into the health line, and because you volunteered to give jabs during the pandemic, that's something that could come in handy, along the line. So it's just take on the opportunity. Don't waste it. Time is your most valuable asset.
Yeah,
correct.
That is a true fact.
Definitely back you on that. Amazing way to end. Loved having you here. Love picking your brain, and look forward to more conversations hopefully in the future.
So thank you guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Bye.